Good evening, good afternoon as well. So many good evening in the Netherlands here on the side of the Corax Foundation organizing the Inter-University Law Debate Tournament, but of course good afternoon in Canada and Uruguay. So two teams who are having their third match today because yes, it is the end of the group phase, so they have their last match of the group phase, like all the other teams in the other groups. So we have the University of the Republic on one side, and we have the University of Western Ontario. So a team from Uruguay and a team from Canada. They received a topic on a different theme than last time. So this topic, they received it a week ago. They prepared it, of course. We don't know which position they will have during the match, but of course we'll know that after we let them introducing for this match themselves. So I will give the floor first to Miss Maria Gonzalez. Welcome. Is it... can you hear me in Uruguay?
Hello, Gonzalez.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you introduce yourself?
You can hear me now?
Yes, please, Miss
Gonzalez.
Sorry,
okay. My name is Maria Victoria Gonzalez. I'm a fourth-year student here at University of the Republic Law School. I'm really excited to be here with my teammates, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, and welcome. We have as well Mr. Daniel Sierski in Canada. Welcome.
Hello. Yes, I'm Dan Sersky. I'm in University of Western Ontario. I'm very excited to debate you guys today.
Thank you and welcome. We have as well Miss Carolina Silva in Uruguay.
Hello, my name is Carolina Silva. I'm in my last year of law school here in the University of the Republic, and I'm really excited to be here, and best of luck to all of you.
Thank you and welcome. And we have on the side of Canada, Miss Whitney Igidi.
Good evening. My name is Whitney Agidi, and I am a first-year student at Western Law. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to debate this interesting topic. We look forward to it.
Thank you. Welcome. And we have as well Mr. Felipe Guerra in Uruguay.
Hello, my name is Felipe Guerra. I'm a fourth-year student, and I wish you all an enjoyable debate.
Thank you and welcome. I precise that there is as well normally Mr. Hewitt in the side of Canada, but he is not available today, so the two students of the team will be debating today. And I mentioned as well the coach. So there are two coaches on the side of Uruguay, Professor Santiago Teodolos and Professor Bruno Rivero, and we have as well on the side of Western Ontario, Professor Valerie Oosteveld and Mr. Spencer Reiser. So for this match, there is a topic, and they will be assessed based on it, of course. The topic is a supranational organization would be better equipped to handle large-scale breach of personal data, ensuring a coordinated and efficient response to safeguard individual privacy rights across borders. So this is the topic they received. We don't know yet which position they will have for the match, in favor or against. So I will share my screen in a few seconds for randomizing the positions, of course. So you will see my screen in a few seconds. So this is not yet the timer. First, the allocation of positions, voila. So normally you should see here the name of your universities, two positions each in favor or against. So activate now the randomizer. And we'll all know which position you will have during your match. The team in favor will start the match. So this is University of the Republic will be in favor of the statement of the motion. And will start the match, and as a consequence, this is University of Western Ontario who will be against the motion. Concretely, it means that the University of the Republic will defend the position that the supranational organization would be better equipped to large-scale breach of personal data, while the University of Western Ontario will defend the position that the supranational organization would not be better equipped to handle large-scale breach of personal data. So now you have 5 minutes, you can close your camera and audio, and we start afterwards with the introduction from the team from Uruguay. Here we are done with the 5 minutes, so we'll stop sharing my screen. So just before we start the match, of course, I remind as well everybody watching the match that if you see a yellow card, it means that the speaker will have still 30 seconds to speak, and if you see a red card, it means that the speaker will be, the speaking time will be over for the speaker. So now that we are done with this, we can start the match. So I would like to give the floor to the University of the Republic for your introduction. You have 4 minutes.
Greetings from Uruguay to all of you who are listening to us. The world is undergoing its fourth industrial revolution, one that is driven by the constant creation, storage, and massive exchange of data. This radical social and economic connectivity forms our digital identity, an electronic body inseparable from an individual's physical self. Let's think for a moment about most services that handle our information. Netflix, Apple, Amazon. What do they all have in common? That they all function at an international level. Nowadays, it is almost impossible for someone to say that they have not given their personal information to a company that handles data globally. Now, let's imagine that all of the information you have given about yourself has been revealed. Wouldn't we all want this kind of situations to be protected internationally, since our data is handled internationally as well? Here is where supranational organizations offer a clear solution. When member states cede part of their sovereignty to a new governing body, they allow the institution to possess jurisdiction over certain policy domains, offering a more cooperative way of resolving this type of situations. This is the case of the European Data Protection Board and its mother document, the General Data Protection Regulation. This document was put into effect on May of 2018, and it is recognized as the toughest privacy and security law in the world. For example, in May of 2023, Ireland's Data Protection Commission imposed a record 1.2 billion fine on Facebook owner Meta. The mammoth penalty related to the transfer of European Facebook user data to the United States without sufficient protection from Washington's intelligence agencies. Andrea Kerinek, EDPB chair, said that Facebook has millions of users in Europe, so the volume of personal data transferred is massive. The unprecedented fine is a strong signal to organizations that serious infringements have far-reaching consequences. As the owners of this data, wouldn't we want to know that our information is protected by a strict and strongly organized legal framework rather than by a specific country's regulation? More so, when we take into consideration that most data breaching happens in companies that work internationally, cases in which information is leaked creates a problem around the applicable regulation for each one of the affected people. Supranational organizations can address this problem because one organization covers all jurisdictions. Imagine a case in which all of the data given to, let's suppose, a streaming company gets leaked. For instance, Amazon Prime Video has subscribers in countries like the United States, India, the UK, and Canada. If every jurisdiction had its own set of rules applied to the case, the same situation would receive a vastly different treatment depending on the country of the person whose personal data was stolen. This undoubtedly seems unfair to most of us. What does sound fair is when states join supranational organizations, they are entering into a new governing body and agreeing to follow an entirely new set of norms and rules. They allow this kind of problems to be resolved in an integrated way. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller, speaking at a cybersecurity conference in 2012, precisely summarized the data breach landscape when he said, "There are two types of companies, those that have been hacked and those that will be." In this sense, an event as important as a massive breach in personal data deserves an equally as important regulation. And supranational organizations are the only institution that capable of doing so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear the introduction on the side of the team from the University of Western Ontario. You have 4 minutes as well.
Thank you. Before I begin, may I please confirm that I am visible and audible?
Yes, you are.
Yahoo Inc., Sony Corporation, HSBC, Private Bank Swiss, and the list could go on. All of these organizations have been the subject of mass data breaches which have or have the possibility of exposing personal data to the public. According to the globally recognized cybersecurity expert Professor John L. Mills, an examination of these breaches reveal a common theme: ineffectual legal systems in the face of anonymous hackers and outdated legal remedies. The most effective responses have not been at the international level, but rather have been through a series of regional and reforms. Good afternoon to our judges and colleagues at the University of the Republic. On behalf of myself and my teammate Daniel, we are proud to be
Wait.
personal data and ensure a coordinated and efficient response.
Wait, I have to stop briefly because, yes, the audio is not perfect. I have a question. Can you make the match without the headphones and using
Yes, I can.
yes, because I have the impression that it's the microphone from your headphones.
I can just.
Yes, and we'll have to switch the microphone to your device, principal device.
Am I visible and audible?
Yes. So this time we'll just restart because the beginning was a bit scattered and a bit later a bit scattered. Just restart from scratch, okay?
Okay.
Also, Whitney, it sounds like internet, to be quite honest.
Do you think it is the internet as well?
Internet?
It still sounds choppy.
It could be.
Okay, try it. Yes, it's still we cannot hear very well actually. So we can see you.
Sorry, we can't actually hear.
It's kind of loud. That's a problem, I think.
So you think it is internet?
Yes, because we
Okay.
are having the same problems as you are listening. So
Okay. Okay, let's try then, but I will tell the judge, of course, to ignore the technical aspect. Could you try Missy Giddy without the camera? And I will ask
Without my camera.
Yes. We switch off the camera. I will ask as well in Uruguay to switch off the camera as well, to give the most of the bandwidth. Okay. So
Okay.
now you can start from scratch.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will begin in 3, 2, 1. Yahoo Inc., Sony Corporation, HSBC Private Bank Swiss, and the list could go on. All of these organizations have been the subject of mass data breaches which have or have the possibility of exposing personal data to the public. According to globally recognized cybersecurity expert Professor John L. Mills, an examination of these breaches reveals a common theme: ineffectual legal systems in the face of anonymous hackers and outdated legal remedies. The most effective responses have not been at the international level, but rather have been through a series of regional and domestic reforms. Good afternoon to our judges and colleagues at the University of the Republic. On behalf of myself and my teammate Daniel, we are proud to be before you today arguing that a supranational organization would not be better equipped to handle large-scale breaches of personal data and ensure a coordinated and efficient response to safeguard individuals' privacy across borders. To do so, we will advance 3 arguments. I will begin by arguing that the large-scale data breaches are best dealt with by strengthening laws and remedies at the domestic and regional level. I will then, secondly, continue by proving that the creation of a supranational organization would not increase the free flow of data due to the state-based international system. Next, Daniel will then posit that the creation of another supranational organization to address data breaches would ultimately fail as it ignores the economic realities of many countries. Before we begin our argument, however, it is important to define some of the key terms of the debate today. Through a series of court cases, the European Court of Human Rights has defined personal data as information relating to an identifiable individual. Per the 2018 case Bernadette and Slovenia, we know that such data covers not only information directly identifying an individual, the data subject, but also any element indirectly IDing a person, such as a dynamic IP address. The UN Economic and Social Committee for West Asia defines supranational organizations as international organizations or unions whereby member states transcend national boundaries or interests to share in the decision-making on issues pertaining to a wider group, a prominent example being the UN. With this, I'll now advance my first argument. The debate topic proposes that a supranational organization would be better equipped to handle large-scale breaches of personal data because it would ensure a coordinated and efficient response. However, we argue today that such an organization is not necessary. The international community does not need another new overarching organization to address the security of personal data and to respond to large-scale breaches. This is because we already have effective regional structures in some areas, such as the European Union through the structures created under the 2016 General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, and the 16-state Ibero-American Network of Data Protection, the RIPD, in the Americas. Both the GDPR and the RIPD have created regional best practices on personal data protection and response of data breaches, such as the RIPD's coordinated investigation of ChatGPT in 2023. As the UN Special Rapporteur on Rights to Privacy, Anna Norgois, stated in her 2024 report, it is necessary for states to establish a system to safeguard the right to personal data protection so that data subjects are aware of the processing to which their personal data are subjected and can exercise the right to remedy if needed. Clearly, the action must be taken at the level of countries, and it is at the domestic level where the data subjects exist and where they require some form of remedy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are moving to the first rebuttals. I would like to give the floor to the team from the University of the Republic. For your first rebuttal, you have 2 minutes.
Firstly, may I confirm that I am audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much. Well, despite the arguments stated by the opposite team, a supranational organization does have the equipment required to avoid and deal in an orderly way with eventual breaches of personal data. Cybersecurity techniques are intended to protect databases from unauthorized access. It is an expensive and complex approach that smaller organizations cannot usually afford. The Managed Detection and Response System is a service that provides organizations with a team of bandits who test the means of security. Other well-known systems can be set up by wealthier companies, such as firewalls. This filters information between known and unknown networks. Before the 2000s, US cybersecurity centered only on cryptography. This approach pushed security advancements abroad and drove American companies to relocate for laxer regulation. This type of exodus would not happen if a supranational organization was in charge of handling cases of data breaching, since an entity's rules would coercively apply to most countries. Furthermore, certifications such as the ISO 27001 act as an international standards applied on big companies to ensure that an organization follows the requisite of a constantly improving security system. The categorization demands that the company plan, implement, evaluate, and improve the techniques that they use. Because of the permanent evolution of attacks, the ISO demands a continuing update of the system. More so, the guideline evolves a safety and trustworthy posture to the clients and improves the leaderly image of the company, showing that the firm is committed to implementing the latest and best cybersecurity methods. While the opposing team has stated that each country should regulate itself when referring to privacy rights, this is mistaken. National laws are very shifting, and international organizations have to adapt. A supranational set of rules offer a unified and harmonized approach for big companies and allows countries to disengage from the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the first rebuttal on the side of the University of Western Ontario. You have 2 minutes.
Can I confirm that I am audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Excellent. Would you like me to attempt to turn on my camera for this portion, or should we keep it off?
We can try, yeah. Okay, you can start.
I'd like to thank our friends for their suggestion that countries, quote from Karina, when countries join a supranational organization, that they cede sovereignty, and for Philip that for his argument that this allows for coordination between countries and international organizations. However, I must respectfully disagree. This is because our friends neglect the fact that supranational organizations are made up of individual states with their own national and, most importantly, supranational laws concerning personal data. The issue that must first be addressed here, therefore, is not whether data can be coordinated between states, but rather within states themselves. In many cases, data protection and response are creatures of subnational, that is, provincial territorial. US, provinces and states have constitutional jurisdiction over the use and transfer of specific personal data, such as health data. This phenomenon is referred to by the OECD as data localization. This means that federal governments who are able to enter into treaties may be coming to the table with incomplete information regarding personal data breaches because of existing internal political arrangements. Even in unitary jurisdictions such as Paraguay and China, the sharing of information is highly politicized. This is why we have seen supranational bodies data. World Health in 2005 international health regulations fail when operationalized in global crises. Data localization is here to stay. A 2015 report by the OECD revealed that 66 countries have implemented varying data localization laws, and this is on the rise. Even international scholars such as Alexander Bernier in the Oxford Journal of Law and Bioscience has argued the success of the EU GDPR is because of similarities in political and economic structures of the member states, and that would be ineffective if extended to states such as South Korea, Russia, and Canada. Realistically, therefore, we must look at domestic and regional approaches rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear the second rebuttal. We will start first with the University of the Republic. You have 2 minutes.
May I confirm that I am audible and visible, please?
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much. Well, we might say that our colleagues confuse two elemental notions. The UN is not a supranational organization, but an international one. What does supranational mean? Well, a supranational organization is a multinational union or association in which members of countries see authority and sovereignty, which doesn't happen when we talk about the UN. Then, what's more, data breaches often involve multinational corporations with operations spanning multiple continents. This centralized nature further complicates matters, making it difficult to pinpoint the exact location of a breach. This way, organizations that are capable of operating across various jurisdictions become imperative. Now, let's talk about supranational organizations like the European Union. They recognize the protection of personal data as a fundamental right, aiming to ensure consistent protection across member states. This strengthens government's ability to not only enforce laws internationally, but also to penalize those who mishandle personal data. Take, for instance, the case of a multi-million-dollar fine imposed by the European Union on British Airways for a data breach affecting 500,000 customers, contrasting with a similar case in the United States, where no sanctions were imposed when Equifax, one of the largest credit reporting agencies, suffered a breach that affected 147 million Americans. Despite this big scale, no direct finance actions were imposed on Equifax by the US government, a country with its own national regulation. Such organizations become even more important for countries like Uruguay that lack the leverage to negotiate or penalize large corporations whose financial resources often surpass our entire GDP. A country like us, if a country, like the US, couldn't sanction a company, think of a smaller state like ours. So let's be clear, uniform global data protection practices aren't just a lofty idea. They are a necessity in today's interconnected world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the second rebuttal on the side of the University of Western Ontario. You have 2 minutes.
Visible and audible?
Yes, you are both audible and visible. Yeah.
Sorry, just give me one moment. Starting in 3, 2, 1. I want to thank my opponents for their argument. However, I respectfully disagree. My friends at the University of the Republic have argued that the United Nations is not a supranational organization. However, according to the definition we forwarded by United Nations Economic and Social Committee for West Africa, the United Nations absolutely fits into this definition. The topic today is singular. A supranational organization should govern these topics, which means that we're not talking about whether the European Union does it, because they already do it, but rather whether there should be a global supranational organization to deal with these issues. The second argument that our friends forwarded was about needing to have the ability to leverage and penalize larger organizations and companies as smart countries, which fits neatly into our next argument, which is that a supranational organization would be antithetical to the economic and strategic realities of individual states, thus rendering it ineffective. The first premise of this argument is that a smaller countries do not have the capacity to contribute and enforce a supranational system. In a 2019 survey conducted, a key conclusion found that some countries feel disempowered due to technological inequalities, which leads to claims of sovereignty. There are over 40 countries presently without a cyber response team, most falling in the global south, who would not want to participate in this. The second premise is that larger countries have established procedures and existing centers that already deal with large data breaches. While Interpol, a supranational police organization, commands a 142 million USD budget, Canada is investing 153 million over 5 years alone in its own center. If domestic and cross-national solutions already work, a supranational organization would be redundant. The last premise of this argument is that many countries benefit from data sovereignty. Between 2000 to 2023, China and Russia were identified as behind 12% of cyber incidents, and the United States behind 2.5%. As such, they have no reason to want to cede control because they have a direct political interest in this reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we move to the conclusions. We hear first the conclusion on the side of the University of the Republic. You have 2 minutes.
May I confirm that I am audible and visible?
Yes, you are both, yeah.
Thank you. To conclude, it is crucial to reiterate once again the critical role that supranational organizations play in protecting personal data. In today's interconnected world, the traditional concept of sovereignty just doesn't cut anymore. We must evolve this notion to acknowledge the existence of multiple and overlapping sovereignties, as it is impossible to deny the traditional idea of the nation-state has been overshadowed by transnationality. The rise of supranational organizations like the EU stands as an undeniable evidence of their effectiveness, prompting numerous countries outside of Europe to emulate the regulatory framework, nearly mirroring the GDPR. Despite claims from the opposing teams that such organizations enforce over strict regulations, look no further than Canada's adoption of regulations akin to the GDPR. Take, for instance, Canada's enactment to PIPEDA, the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act, a regulation so alike to the EU frameworks that it earned recognition as adequate protection. This alignment underscores the EU's influential role as a regulatory standard setter. Nowadays, transfer between Canada and the EU operate flawlessly. As the praised Uruguayan international private lawyer and author Santos Velardo says, on the internet there are no borders, and in a sort of seamless space, territory holds no value or meaning. The challenges of applying laws territorially must be addressed by solutions tailored for this new reality, with international collaboration emerging as the sole viable approach. as data breaches in today's world puts in check the democracy of human rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the conclusion on the side of the University of Western Ontario. You have 2 minutes.
Am I visible?
Yes, you are visible and audible.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. I want to thank my opponents for their arguments in this debate. I want to flag key proof requirements of this debate. Firstly, the topic is worded as a supranational organization and the words would, which is individual and perspective. We're talking about an international organization that does not exist, which is why we are arguing that the Europeans' existing solutions and in the Americas all constitute as not a supranational international organization that governs all of these. And therefore, we think that these benefits are still ones that we get that are singular in domestic and multilateral. Secondly, the topic substantiates it's about being better equipped. Being better equipped is not a given. It is part of the debate as to whether this supranational organization would be properly equipped to deal with issues. If they do not have the resources, funding, or support, and they constantly are infighting because of data sovereignty concerns, then it would not be an effective response and highly not be as effective as an individual response, which is precisely why we argued the issues as to that there will continue to be different systems, that there are individual state-based systems in terms of data governance that would not be conducive to sharing, and that the actual on-the-ground interest of larger countries not wanting to support smaller countries, and the fact that they have an interest in having the ability to wield their data privacy in the way that they want to in terms of using data warfare, there is no way that they would actively support such an organization. And all of that is a prerequisite to our friends' great arguments about how supranational organizations assume they were feasibly able to have and govern support. Because if they have no support, they cannot do all the great things they talk about. So, in summary, those are all of our positions. And I want to summarize with a quote. Atul Gawande, a distinguished academic, said, "The world is too vast and too various to submit to dictates from on the high." Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we just heard both conclusions, so it means from now you are not anymore under evaluation by the judge. So now you can of course relax and rest a little bit, because this is the after-match part of the session. So it means simply we'll ask for your opinion, for your impression about this, I would say, match, because you have been preparing it for 7 days, and now you confronted ideas. You heard maybe some aspects you already have seen, maybe doing your research from the other side. So yes, so you can open your camera and microphone. I will ask to each of you your impression, and after that, the last, I would say, part will be about your impression on the whole group phase itself and the competition. So first of all, I would like to ask Miss Maria Gonzalez, what do you think about this match?
Well, it was a really enjoyable match. We thank our fellow colleagues. It was really good. And well, we have practiced for this a lot, and it was kind of difficult at first because we don't really talk about data breaches, or they don't really talk here in the University of the Republic about data breaches, because for a country like us, it's kind of like a new topic. But well, because of that, it was really good to do our research.
Thank you very much. Mr. Zvirsky, what did you think about the match and as well the argumentation?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the topic. I thought it was interesting. I do really wish that there was a little bit more clarity on what the difference in terms of systems we are comparing. Like, is it actually like a new supranational organization? Is it just the existing ones, and whether it just should be a domestic? And so I thought it was interesting to try to explore that in the debate, but I think definitely having a little bit more of that knowledge in advance would have helped for sure, I think, to make it more clear for us when we were preparing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Miss Silva, what did you think about the match and as well preparation eventually?
I actually agree with what our colleague has just said. We think the topic was, I think, maybe the hardest one we have had out of the three of them.
Yeah.
The notion of a supranational organization wasn't actually clear enough, I think, us to do the whole research. So we kind of had to figure that part out before we started to actually plan the debate. So I think that was an extra difficulty, but we could resolve it. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Miss Igidi, what did you think about the match?
Yeah, first and foremost, I just wanted to thank everyone for their patience. I really appreciate it. I found this to be quite an interesting topic, especially as so, for example, I read recently a piece coming out of the University of Calgary that over the next decade will be investing over $6 billion in AI and tech law, right? So I was really excited to approach this topic and see our friends had to offer in terms of rebuttals. They did not disappoint. So thank you for a wonderful debate.
Thank you very much. As well, Mr. Felipe Guerra, what did you think about the match?
Well, it was great. As they all said, it was very difficult to find information, but it was a really fun debate, and I congratulate my fellow colleagues.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Just, of course, maybe something which could help, for the next match, eights of finals, quarterfinals as well. If you have unclarity, please do not hesitate to send an email to the organization, so Corax Foundation, because in the rules, indeed, it is mentioned that we can provide clarification on a topic, and we send an email back to both teams. So it could be one team or both teams, but as soon as we get an email, it happened, I think, one time actually this year. Our, I would say, colleagues who have written the topic, we ask, and that person actually provide a clarification. Of course, not to the point to give you all the argumentation, but at least to explain what exactly it could be interpreted, the topic, in which sense or another sense. So it can happen, of course, that we need to give more clarification. But indeed, please do not be shy, send an email, and we send a reply to both teams at the same time. We just say one team requested a clarification, and then this is a clarification. So then we can, it can help. You can ask, for example, just after you got the topic, or 1 day after, 2 days, 3 days after. If possible, not 10 minutes before the match, of course, but yes, that could help. Now we move to the last part of the session. Simply now it is your third match. Of course, you already had met 2 other teams in your group. You gain experience, and of course you made better and better strategy within the team, who make introduction, conclusion, rebuttals, etc. So my question is very simple: is what did you think about this group phase? What are the lessons you got from those 3 matches, and as well which teams in general outside of your group? Because we need to keep a bit of suspense concerning the result. So it means in other groups, which universities or teams gave you a lot of positive impression. So I give this question to the whole team, of course. So for example, the team from the University of the Republic, what do you think about this group phase, and which universities outside of this group, of the 4 universities, gave you the best impression?
Well, we were against 3 formidable groups, so it was quite difficult, and we actually learned a lot from them, especially this is the first time we're actually debating, and in English, because we normally have classes in Spanish. We do everything in Spanish here, so it's the only chance we have to speak in English. But, well, we really had a great time with our colleagues from Lusaka. We really liked the topic that was given to us too, so we might say that it was a really good debate. I'm really proud of it too.
I think the one we learned the most from, I think was, in my case at least, was France, just because they had a completely different debate strategy than we did. So we kind of learned that we could adapt our way of debating to theirs. So that was quite interesting as well.
Okay, thank you very much. On the side of Western Ontario, So same question.
Oh, is it any of us? Okay. Yeah, it's been a very fun group stage. I feel like it was really interesting because we ended up being able to debate with people from every continent, or not every continent, but we got to debate people from South America, Africa, and Europe, which I think is very cool. And so I really enjoyed that. I had, I guess, a similar. I also thought at University of Lusaka, I liked how that was our first debate. They came very well prepared. And it was a really enjoyable debate from the topic and everything else. So I think I enjoyed every single debate, and I thought it was really fun to be able to see and debate against people from all across the world.
Thank you. Miss Guidi?
It was really interesting to see perspectives and different ways that people approached it. I enjoyed the enthusiasm from our colleagues at the University of Lusaka. Research. We also thought that our counterparts in Manitoba also did quite a very good job too, as an example of a team outside of our cohort.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, there are as well as the other teams, so be aware that you might be, of course, confronted to the other teams in the next level, I mean the elimination phase. So that was the last match, so as well we send greetings, of course, to the three judges will be assessing this match, one who is in Sardinia, exactly, in Italy, one who is in UK, from Luxembourg, and one who is here in the Netherlands, but originally from Poland. So greetings to the three judges will be assessing this match. Again, in this group, there are 4 teams. So the 4 teams, all of them, they have 3 points because they got 1 victory each. So, so this is the last match, of course, for these 2 teams. It will be as well the last match for the 2 other teams. And then we'll know in a few days from now which teams will go to the 8th of finals. Don't forget as well, we'll have a networking event which is for the students. All the students from all the groups will send, of course, information about it to match as much as possible most of the time zones, because there are 14 time zones in this competition, of course, for example, from Manitoba in Winnipeg to Fiji on the other side of the planet. So it is 40 times time zone. So yes, you will receive those information obviously a week before the event, and this way you'll be able to connect and speak with them in a room, in an environment which is made for that, not WebEx, another one. And of course, we'll have as well a little game as well, and of course we'll announce as well which are the 8th of finals match. So it means which team will meet which team at that time. So so we thank all of you. We thank as well your coach, obviously. Greetings, of course, to all of you, of course, for the rest of the week. And we keep in touch. Don't forget to, of course, look at how it goes with the other match. And yes, we'll let you know very soon the result. Many thanks in Canada, many thanks in Uruguay. Thank you. Have a good evening. And
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye,
afternoon.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Congratulations, Matt.
Bye-bye.